Welcome to Church Words, understanding God through definition. If you're like me, you may have grown up in a Protestant church and heard these words throughout your life, but also like me, never took the time to completely understand their meanings. Or you may be new to the Christian faith, and I hope this podcast helps to bridge the divide between understanding and strengthening your relationship with God. Well, today we're not discussing a word. Instead, we're discussing myths of Christmas. These are commonly quoted or misplaced statements surrounding either the birth of Jesus or just the Christmas holiday. Starting with myth number 1, 3 wise men visited Jesus on the night he was born. Well, that would be incorrect. They were not present at his birth because they only saw the star that night in their own country in the east, and there are no reports of there being only 3 wise men. We often associate 3 wise men based on the gifts they brought Jesus and his family, which consisted of gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. We find this in Matthew 2, 1 through 12, which says, "After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem," Magi being another word for wise men, "and asked, 'Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him.' When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. 'In Bethlehem, in Judea,' they replied, 'for this is what the prophet has written.' And the prophet's quote goes as, 'But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people, Israel.' Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, 'Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him.' After they heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house," and that's where we get that they were not at the birth, it's at the house. We also suspect he was about 2 to 3 years of age. But back to reading the scripture. "On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route." So, no wise men were at his birth, nor do we know the exact number. Myth number 2, Jesus was born on December 25th. Well, the Bible doesn't actually say. There are a few theories that suggest he could have been born in the spring because that is when flocks would have been outside. Other theories suggest late spring, and another theory suggests early fall. In the end, we just don't know. December 25th was chosen by the Romans as it coincided with another holiday. They did have a custom of repurposing holidays for their own use. Myth number 3, Jesus did not cry at his birth. Well, there is no specific evidence to say whether he cried or not. It's inferred that he likely did cry, as he was also human and would have behaved as a human baby. Myth number 4, Mary rode on a donkey to Bethlehem. Well, we don't know, as the Bible doesn't say. Common ways of traveling would have been horse, camel, or possibly an animal-drawn cart. Myth number 5 says, which, by the way, we're going to wrap up with a few song myths, so 5 and 6, I should say. "Joy to the world" is about the arrival of baby Jesus. Well, incorrect. It's about the arrival of Jesus. That is true, but it's referring to his second coming. It was published in 1719 by English minister and hymnist Isaac Watts and is based on a Christian interpretation of Psalm 98 and Genesis 3. But personally, I don't care what they say. I'm still singing it at Christmas. And if anything, it gives me even more reason to sing it in July. Myth number 6, and this is our finale. Jingle Bells is a Christmas song. Well, no. The song was written by James Pierpont and was originally called One Horse Open Sleigh. And it was actually meant to be about Thanksgiving. Never once does the song mention Christmas, but like I said, I'm still singing it at Christmas. Well, it's been fun to work through this list, but don't forget the spiritual relevance. If you don't know Christ, well, I encourage you to do so by listening to episode 1 of this podcast series, and then consult with your local Bible-believing church. Also, as always, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out by emailing churchwords@thomasmiller.me. Thanks for listening.